Alrighty, welcome back to Professor Hartman. Crappy video number 3, learning lessons every time we make a video. So last time, as you may have noticed, I was the full screen the entire video like an idiot. And I decided not to redo it because, hey, press forward, right? And the rest of the video was decent enough, so I moved on. You may have noticed, however, we had a huge technological improvement from video 1 to 2. And that was nice. I don't know if we'll have any more leaps that are that big for a while, but there we go. And hopefully this time we'll have some skill differences. Look at this. Hey, right there, where we're supposed to be, down in the corner. Way to go. Alrighty. So we're going to talk today about lessons you can learn from non-digital games that can impact your ability as a game designer. Simple games, dice games, card games, board games. All right, here we go. So simple games. By simple, I mean they require either no medium materials, or or you can use readily available materials. Tic tac toe, rock paper scissors, I Spy. You can play these games anytime, anywhere, just about with nothing. And there are mechanics that you can use from these. Rock paper scissors is the foundation of almost every strategy game out there. Infantry units, cavalry units, archers typically follow a rock, paper, scissors type situation. You can use rock, paper, scissors mechanics all the time when you want to design something that's relatively balanced because it's simple and it works. I Spy, hidden object games are basically digital versions of a game of I Spy. So yeah, tic tac toe, not so much, but sometimes you can use tic tac toe in a game just for funsies, especially if you're going against NPCs. But yeah, simple games, very useful. Some of those mechanics. And one other thing, sometimes a simple game's mechanic in a digital or a video game form can have an emotional impact. It can have a nostalgic impact. You can be in the middle of some seriously brutal MMO or RPG, and your character plays tic tac toe or somebody or a similar game, and it's kind of a chill moment. Dice games. I mean, there's zillions of these. You can look up a book and find hundreds of cool dice games. Some really basic ones that you may have played: Yahtzee, Liar's Dice, Craps. All these dice games are relatively easily replicable in digital form, which is nice. So it's not that difficult to code them into your game. You can make small variations. You can change things from certain types of characters to troops or to units that are in your game world to make the game feel more lore appropriate. But all sorts of dice games can be used and implemented into your game, either as a mini game or as a core mechanic. Card games, obviously, tons of card games have been ported in a digital form, and then that's it. That's the whole game. So you can definitely make money and succeed and have customers and have gamers and players playing card games. I think card games are better used as a mini game in an RPG, but you can also take some of these card games and build a variation, and it can be your own. And some card games can be hugely successful. There was a game, Might and Magic 6, 7, and 8. I think it was called Arco Mage, and that card game was so successful they eventually released it itself on its own. Before that, people would keep Might and Magic 6, 7, 8 installed just to play Arco Mage. And something very similar happened with Witcher with Gwent. They eventually made its own card game. So card game mini games can sometimes be almost, as cool as the game itself. That last one is not a game. Hoyle's Rule of Games is a book that has tons of card games in it that you can flip through. And you might find an obscure one that you think is really neat, and then you tweak it a little bit and change things to be lore appropriate, and bam, you've got a really cool game in your game. Board games, another type of game that has been directly translated into video game form, and sometimes that's it. Candyland, Monopoly, Stratego, chess, obviously, Scrabble, Risk, Settlers of Catan. Now, board games have gotten really complicated in the last 10 years because the board game industry has just exploded, which is awesome. But a fascinating thing to me is how few have been ported in digital form. I kind of wonder if that's an opportunity for somebody to start doing that. I talked to a board game developer one time about doing that, and it was, we never really got that farther along for no good reason. We're good friends to this day. We just never really pushed forward on that. But I think it's an opportunity somebody might have, just taking some of the cooler, neat, new, complicated board games out there and converting them into digital form, or making them multiplayer over the internet. Then you got your hybrid games that are combine some of those features. You know, maybe they have dice and cards. Maybe they have a board and dice, like backgammon, Clue, cribbage. These combine multiple mechanics. So, what's the summary though of all of these? You can take all of these games and use bits and pieces of their mechanics to either form the core mechanic of a game that you're going to make, a side mechanic, a mini game in an RPG, a mini game in an MMORPG. You can do all sorts of things. And one of the things that's really good is you generally already know that these games are pretty balanced. You also know that some of them are fun because they've survived all this time and people still play them. So, and then as an added bonus, at least for the more popular ones, some of your customers are already going to know how to play them, and so that's nice too. But overall, the fact is, you can get a lot of cool game mechanics, a lot of cool ideas from these games, and it's definitely worth playing them. And while you play them, think about their potential as a video game. All right, that wraps up this one. Thanks a lot for watching. See you in the next video.